Hello and welcome to another edition of Finally Friday.
Hey.
I know you're used to we call it the AAA squad, Ashley, Andre, and Alan, but we actually have a special, very special guest today. I'll let her introduce herself.
I'm Jillian, and I am the account director for RTM 360.
Yeah, she sounds official. She is official, but she's the type of person, to have Drake captions and Drake-themed birthday parties and
all that good stuff.
A fashionista as well. As you can see, I'm a very severely underdressed compared to what
very underdressed.
We are. Andre got the memo. I didn't get the email, but it's all good. It's fine.
It's just a little bit of something. Anyhow, Ashley, shout out to Ashley. Happy birthday, Ashley.
Happy birthday, Ashley.
Enjoy your day.
Yes. We have a lot to get into.
Yes.
First, we're actually going to start with the versus battles. So, as you all are familiar by now, the versus battle started by Swiss Beats and Timbaland. And they've gone from, in people's homes, transitioning into the two artists, battling in person, to now it's more so, not arenas, but definitely rooms full of people that are...
It's more commercialized. And
for sure. It had organic roots. Now it feels like a little artificial. But I saw a tweet on my timeline, which Jamil is going to pull up. I want them to let go of this versus censorship so bad, LOL. And that's previewing, they just had Bobby Brown and Keith Sweat.
Right.
And people are basically saying they're tired of versus now. So has versus peaked? What are we at right now with versus
I think it's over, honestly. I think now that outside is open, I don't know about y'all, but I'm gonna be out in these streets dipping and doing. I mean, I don't really care about what's going on.
The Versus Challenge gave us something to do. It was something to watch when we were in our down moments when we couldn't be outside. So it was a thing to do online. But now the summer's open back up and everything's, it's more commercialized. And what I liked about the Versus Challenge on IG last summer around this time is it was a little bit more organic and authentic. Now we've got don't we have an audience for it now? Like in-person
audience. There's sponsorships.
There's no more hiccups when it comes to the tech end of it, which I didn't care for, but
it was funny. They kept it real.
It's a full production now. Like Versus definitely taking on multiple identities. One, it's not even black owned anymore. So Triller bought out Versus, so it's not even a black owned product anymore. So it's Versus presented to you by Triller. So there's that thing.
What's wrong with it though? Because what's wrong with making the money off of what someone sees as a perfect business opportunity? So
we don't always have to cut the white man in though. Like we really stuff can.
And I agree to that. So why didn't we keep hold of it and make money off of it?
I didn't create it. You gotta talk to Swiss Beats.
Yeah.
But I like Versus because what it started out as, it was the producers.
But wait a minute, if Swiss Beats made money off of it because he sold it, right?
Yeah.
So he made money off of it,
which is great. But we don't always have to sell out everything that we do. Like some stuff.
But that's part of the entrepreneurial business spirit that once you build up something great, if you bring value in it and then you sell it. Now some could keep hold of it and keep it within. But there's nothing wrong with it if you made money off of it. Now you move on to something else.
I think he actually made a great move of selling it at this point because, in my opinion, it is on its way out the door. So get out while it's still hot. Before you don't want to be trying to sell it at the end when people are 100% over it and you've run through all the artists that people want to see. Because eventually there is an end.
It now is under different ownership, where someone's going to take it perhaps in a different direction. Where it has nothing to do with Swiss Beats because they did what they did and they got their coins.
Yeah, they're still associated with it, but I think there's still a nice pride of something being 100% black owned. Like you can tell Diddy, hey, you should still revolt. Like no, like that's.
But
that's
you can be 100% black owned once you build up an amount of wealth towards a project that you want to be 100% owned. This doesn't have to be 100% owned. For him, it's something he did over a period of time, 2020, and now I want to move on to something else, and I'll make that 100% own from the wealth that I made from selling this.
Yeah, but he could hold on to his wealth, but then you invested in something else. You never know what happens with that. But I'm still, in terms of like history, I would like Versus to go down.
In terms of economics 101. I get what you're saying, though.
Yeah. But if you think about how Versus started, it started with the producers and the songwriters. So you had people like Neo versus Jonte, then you had Swiss Beats versus Timbaland, and they were putting on a lot of people know, oh, I didn't know this person wrote this song, or oh, I didn't know this person made this beat.
That is true. Yeah. I still want to see, however, Mary J. Blige and Who was the other girl that was supposed to go up against her?
Against Mary J.
Mary J. Tony Braxton.
Yeah, appreciate it.
I would still have wanted to see that, but according to some posts, that just happened to be
that was fake news. That's a slaughter. A lot of these verses aren't even fair anymore.
Yeah.
They're not even fair. Like Bobby Brown versus Keith Sweat. Come on.
Get the cognac
Bobby
ready.
and 4. Like, and Bobby would even got to tap into his new edition bag if you don't want to. Like, Bobby can really just play the Don't Be Cruel album and be set. Like, and wipe the floor with Keith Sweat.
Well, don't go too old school for Jillian,
Oh.
You have to keep things proportionate and Jillian.
Pray for him. Always shade. Always right here.
I'm sorry.
Shade.
That's someone else.
Always like it. So we all agreeing versus has peaked. Like, are we?
I think
it's over. It's a wrap.
I think so. I didn't even watch the last one.
Yeah, the only thing they can really do at this point is take it on tour, I guess.
No, we good. We all set.
Just have the artists battle on different cities and stuff like that. I don't know what else they can do.
I like Jay Cassidy's Pass the Mic. That's pretty cool. Where celebrities pass the mic to other celebrities to sing. That was another IG moment during COVID. Like one IG celebrity passes the mic to another IG celebrity, and they keep passing it and bringing them into their lives. That was something cool too during COVID. So
yeah, but again, we pretty much think versus is pretty much.
Jillian, who was texting you right now?
Don't worry about that. Okay. It's the highlight.
We got rookies on the show.
We
clearly told her to use the phone.
I did. I thought I did.
Get the memo. She's still important. She's still important.
Kind of a big deal.
You probably got a social media alert.
It could have been somebody's son. Who knows?
But speaking of social media, which I probably could have been. The BET Awards were on Sunday, so they had different artists come out. We're not really going to focus on that. One thing I do want to focus on is the mystique around award shows in general, because I didn't even know the BET Awards were coming on until last Friday on last week's episode.
You don't watch BET, Alan?
I'm sorry, I can't. So I don't know if it's just like people not watching cable as much thing, or just have social media diluted award shows in general. I got this topic from a tweet another tweet. That's the theme of the show, tweets I saw on my timeline.
So now he has a tweet timeline.
And I'm going to save you the Alex.
And his infamous list.
I don't have any list today. I just have some pretty fire tweets. Jamel, could you pull up that tweet? So it says, I agree. I definitely think the art of performance is starting to become lost because we're oversaturated with celebs and sing out every single day because of social media. Before you would have to save up all your coins to go to a concert. And not to mention, albums are not coming out as often. So has social media diluted award shows?
Okay, well, I would say yes, because at this point, there's no need to watch the show. You can just get the play-by-play on Twitter, on Instagram. Who wore what, who tripped, who fell, who did whatever, what the performance was. There's no need for me to watch the show because half the times I never know when they're on.
But you're a fashionista yourself, so I would imagine you will be watching the show to see who wore what. And
I don't need
those
to watch
red carpet looks she's going to see on her timeline.
I'm going to see on my timeline, and if it's a person that I'm really interested in, their hair and makeup artist has probably already showed pictures. They're showing behind the scenes already, them getting ready, so I already know what's coming.
The actual show, I think, is diluted because, like you said, you're getting so much before, during, and after, and the commentary on other people's feed on social media. I do agree with that to an extent, but to me, an award show has lost its significance anyway, social media or not, because it's not an award show. It's more so a concert that you get to watch on TV because everything is a performance.
Award show's always been that, though. Like, award shows been known for most of the performances and the awards that they give out. Now, the awards take precedence if someone sets a record, like, they won 5 Grammys in one night, or
but nobody cares about the actual award or recognition. It's the performance, the concert.
I disagree. Some people do care because at least at the Grammys, the past couple of years, somebody has won like album of the year that nobody's ever heard of, and they're like, "What?
Who won this year?"
I know, like the year. What's the name?
Who won this year?
I don't know who won this year, but the year it was like Kendrick had an album out, Drake had an album out, Kanye had an album out. And then, what's the white rapper guy, the Thrift Shop Guy?
Macklemore.
Macklemore. He won album of the year.
I love the song.
Drake and Kanye had an album. I think that was like 2012, 2013, somewhere around that time.
That makes sense because something in my pocket.
I just was singing the song and he doesn't. So
you telling me that should have won that was deserving of the Grammy over Kendrick, Drake, and Kanye's projects that they put out that year?
No. know.
Well, you said Drake, so maybe so.
Drake?
Probably so. But anyhow.
I forgot we got a Drake hater in the building, everybody.
I'm not Drake hater.
No, I'm talking.
You bring up Drake every single chance you
because
get.
Drake should always be a part of the conversation.
Come on, back up.
Period.
Have a great day.
Like, when we talk about music, we need to talk about Aubrey, Drake, Graham. Okay.
Artist of the Decade at another award show, but I digress.
Okay, anyhow.
I digress. So the main thing is we're being robbed of classic moments like we have this video here, iconic BET Awards moment. Which you probably see some familiar faces that you may recognize.
You know what? My best moment out of the awards, for example, BET Awards this past week was.
Actually, I literally just saw the video. Can we play the video?
Jamel,
let's play the video. Please. See, that's not happening at the BET Awards or any awards.
I love it.
See what happens when Andre stops talking? We have like some great content. Like it's amazing.
Michael Jackson and
James
Brown. Come on, don't forget the man's name.
That always is getting people's names wrong.
That is very. I love it. That was a vibe. That was a moment.
A moment with preceded social media, so it came before social media. And we might not have got that interaction. Like nowadays, Michael Jackson might have just tweeted James Brown, like, hey, it was great seeing you at the award show. Like we might not get that genuine moment or that peek behind the curtain per se.
Right.
Because there was a certain, privacy that certain artists had, and you didn't know who had relationships with who until, award show season or they did a magazine cover together or something like that. But now with social media, people hit up each other on the timeline all the time. Hey, let's collab. Hey, let's do this. So it's sort of like, do I really need to watch the award shows when I can, like you said?
But you know what I love about artists though, when they have a performance and they can make it feel refreshed, renewed every time they perform it.
Tyler the Creator.
Tyler the Creator. And on one this past week at the BET Awards, he has the song where he says, "I will find
what?
Ladies and gentlemen,
you know what I'm talking about? We didn't ask for Andre to say it this week. I don't know. It sort of sounded like you might have said,
I'm gonna leave the door open.
Yeah,
like is that what you were saying? The words?
They were two artists who performed together.
Yeah, I literally just said,
he literally so
no, but who's the other artist?
They're called Silk Sonic. Andre, are you under a rock? Oh my gosh,
Bruno Mars.
The group is called Silk Sonic. It's Anderson .Paak and Bruno Mars.
Oh, that's nice.
But the group is called Silk Sonic.
The only one I recognize is Bruno Mars.
We obviously didn't recognize him because we didn't know the name of the group.
Well, it was one of the best performances of the BET Awards. But really, I feel like every time Bruno Mars performs, he always rejuvenates and renews and refreshes the song with every time he performs. I think that's what's special about award shows. But the award show itself is really diluted. Social media, and no one really cares about the awards.
And you know why you feel that way about Bruno? He's not really that active on social. He really only comes out on social if he has a new song or if he has a new album or collaboration or group or something along those lines.
So he brings added value to the award show because he leaves social media for the most part out of it.
Absolutely. And I would say Bruno was the top 2 performer alive, only trailing Beyonce, which was the greatest Super Bowl halftime show of all time.
Adele even has a similar model too. You don't really see much of her. Unless she's touring or coming out with an album or dropping a whole bunch of weight, and then you see her out here in these streets.
But you don't even know. Like, is that Adele? Is that Adele Catfish? You don't really know.
Yeah. So I think that's a great business model to keep yourself kind of hot.
So we're saying bring back the privacy, celebrate celebrity privacy. Is that what we're saying?
Yes.
Well, then we get into the whole other conversation because celebrities talk about wanting privacy, but they
get into a whole other conversation.
Well, anyhow.
Speaking of celebrations, big national celebration this weekend is the 4th of July. So Black people feel especially within these past couple of years, I've been feeling some type of way about celebrating 4th of July because there's this little, fact that, we weren't free when the rest of the nation was.
But we're still going to celebrate the day. We're going to get our barbecue pits out, and we're going to go on vacation, and we're going to,
not be at work.
We're going to go, not at work. So we're still going to celebrate
about black people. They're not mad enough to come to work on 4th of July, but they just don't want to celebrate it. Like, they don't want to honor it. Should we celebrate Independence Day even though we weren't free?
Our Independence Day already happened, so I'm good.
Yeah, Juneteenth, right?
Yep.
So it's like we've been here, done that, and we'll take the day off.
I'll take the day off. I'll eat some, slightly burnt hot dogs, but
and we'll pop some fireworks.
You can pop. I ain't popping no fireworks.
Well, that comes to the tradition.
That's why I leave it to you.
We'll celebrate it in some way, right?
You're right.
But I think that there is a loss. We've been lost in the translation of how we've been taught history in American public school systems. And so now I think there's this rejuvenation of coming out of our culture saying, look, we've been misguided on what the history has been about this country. And y'all go ahead and do what y'all going to do and celebrate this holiday, but we're going to celebrate it differently.
Yeah, and I think to an extent, I get, wanting to boycott and people waking up to black screens on my timeline 4th of July. Like, I get the protest and outrage. But in the same sense, it's almost like we do have certain freedoms, even though we didn't have them back then. Eventually, we did get to experience certain freedom of press, freedom of speech, freedom of religion. Like, there's some countries that you can't serve anything other than God.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, and there's some countries that you can't go to certain websites on the internet because the government doesn't want you interfering with that. Like, I'm grateful to have, the freedom to, experience those things. So this is almost like a double-edged sword in a sense, because it's like, I get the historical context of it, but if we're talking about independence where we can experience freedoms now, even though some people say, even I would say we're not totally free.
Right.
I think there's still some, remembrance and celebration that should happen because, like I said, you have certain freedoms that other black people that look like us in other countries don't get to experience.
I think that's all very valid points per se. I just know for me, I've always grown up with kind of being responsible for my own education. So I was always taught by my mother to do some extra reading beyond what was taught in school. Mm-hmm. So a lot of this stuff I grew up knowing. I mean,
So you never grew up celebrating 4th of July?
No, not really. It was never a big thing in my house. I mean, growing up, so put this all in perspective, American Girl dolls, there was only one black doll. Mm-hmm. I had to have that doll. All the American Girl dolls, the black doll was a slave. So I was trying to figure out, why of all the dolls do I have to pick the slave doll? So imagine going to your friend's house. It's like, oh, my doll makes sweet potato pies, and So
we're just going back to our topic last week. Should we be offended because
I was about to bring up watermelon.
Black people make a sweet potato pie?
I was about to bring up watermelon.
Well, I don't like watermelon, so don't even start on that.
Thank you. So I just had enough for your time. We are over time. Actually, the clock is on all zeros. Uh-huh. So again, thank you, Jillian, for joining us this week.
We loved it.
Brought some class to the show, and I'm saying actually classless, but a different type of vibe and energy, as you can see by the
why you got to do that?
I'm frozen.
What? It's different. Like, it was different this week.
We're about to get canceled by
in case I'm not here this week, this is Alan, and that's Jillian, and that's Andre. Maybe it'll be AAA next week, maybe not. Sorry, Alan.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.